YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. It's your brother Trey with Unpopular Opinions. We got an interesting video here. Let's jump right into it, you guys.
Let's see. That I am a gold-digging, manipulative, evil, whorebag slut who has no real talent, who has sucked and fucked her way to the top, and is a overhyped, below average looking girl with clout.
But I mean, has she said any lies? I'm trying to figure it out where the lies at.
Who is only relevant because of her ass.
Well, damn.
In this moment, yes, I cannot say what's wrong or right.
No. Cut. End of story. All right. Well, now see, I think one of the things that makes me a little bit unique is I don't come from what I consider to be the industry.
Okay.
Athletics, entertainment, music. I was on that side all my life. Mm-hmm. So the world you live in, the world you exist in is pretty much foreign to most of the people who have something to say about it.
Right.
What do you think people get that point of view? I mean, because you said the first thing is that you are a manipulative gold digger.
Yes.
All right. Whose gold have you dug?
That's a great question. I'm not gonna lie, if I'm a gold digger, I'm a really bad one because I feel like the reality is that I have this list of guys, high value, highly sought after men, and there was no financial gain. So I think if I was a smart sugar baby or gold digger, that there would be at least something physical in front of me, a car, a condo, bags, shoes, something, money in my account. That never happened. And maybe that's just where I'm foolish.
I mean, the first time I heard about you was the book. Mm-hmm. Everybody was like, oh, this, because people had said, hey, because...
Here, I'm finna cut them off real quick. All of these perceptions that the internet has of Brittany is because we've watched her. The internet has watched Brittany Renner grow up. And done this crazy shit. I think it's so fascinating, especially the times we're in right now, because the internet is not new anymore, you guys. It's over 10, 15. I mean, the internet itself is pretty old, but if you want to talk about Instagram, YouTube, and these other platforms that a lot of people use to get clout and stuff off of, you guys, they're pretty old. They're about a decade, over 10 years old, you guys. And so with all that time, people have done everything you can imagine and everything you can think of. And when it comes to Brittany Renner, she's in the same league as Tiana Trump. Except I think Tiana has been out there a lot more than Brittany has. I don't even know if Brittany really is I feel like Brittany's been in porn, but it's mainly because of the people she's around. The way that the internet perceives people and the way that the internet judges isn't always right. But sometimes they're onto something, you guys. Sometimes they're onto something. Not all the times though, but when a lot of people start saying the same things, it's worth looking into, taking into consideration of, So let's see what else she has to say in this cap of an interview, you guys.
And this whole ethos or this whole thing is like, first it was Karen Stephens in this tell-all book. Yeah. And then they were like, oh, well, Karen Stephens like story. And I'm like, okay, well, like to most consumers, I'm like, okay, whatever. She wrote a book. And from what I understand, the book, you told stories, you used different names, but all these people are celebrities and musicians and entertainers. And,
allegedly.
Well, they're not accountants, engineers, they're not IT coders, they're not people who have 8 to 5s. Mm-hmm. Or are they?
Well, I guess that's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Okay, well, I don't know. So, gold digging, has any one of these men said you gold digging?
No. There's no supporting evidence. I think it's just public speculation. I like to call them fan theories. Very interesting. To be honest with you, my biggest thing is I'm from Ocean Springs, Mississippi.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get into it, I'm not sitting here to, pocket watch Brittany, but, come on, everyone in the internet is asking the same questions. How else the fuck are you getting the money that you've gotten? I mean, like, come on. Like, how... Obviously, you know, people doing drugs or doing all this other shit, money man type of shit. Of course, don't put your business out there like that. But Brittany, you don't look like a scammer. You don't talk like a scammer. Sounds like you made your money in the sex business. I mean, what else has she done? She don't even have a makeup line. She don't have a... You know, she just got red bottom shoes, and from what?
Do you know where that is?
No.
Okay, exactly my point.
No, but it's Mississippi, goddamn.
I moved from Grand
Even
Rapids.
Oklahoma looked down on Mississippi.
All right, so
Gangsta up in this.
I think for me is just I built my following from the ground up, and as you grow.
Why do your following on Instagram?
Yes, because I started my Instagram account the summer of 2012.
Why?
Because at the time I was doing fitness, and I actually deleted my social media for the boyfriend I was.
Was there some kind of soccer video?
I used to play soccer. I used to have a real talent.
Okay. So what was the first video?
That's not the question he asked. He said, wasn't there a soccer video? Yes, there was a soccer video. It was when Brittany Renner teamed up with Tiana Trump, and they played with 6ix9ine on a soccer field. You guys, that's what happened. She hooked up with her fellow porn star Tiana Trump, and that's the video that he's talking about. Cap.
Video that kind of launched you was back in 2012. You did fitness. Because I remember hearing something about some soccer video that you did. Did it get a lot of views?
Yes. I mean, I would always, shoot the ball, but it would be in like short shorts, ass out. And then I was sometimes, but it would be in like short shorts, ass out. And then
And so from here, you guys, we have reached the first moment of contradiction and contradicting herself. She's asking, I don't know where the hell these people are getting these ideas from that I'm sucking and fucking and using sex to get my way to the top. Well, you just said that you used to make a bunch of videos of you in booty shorts doing sexual innuendos and shit like that. God, the same Cap from the DJ Academics interview is happening in this real, like, oh my God, let's just watch this shit.
Sometimes I twerk in there.
All right.
Some people loved it.
Of course.
I mean, if you guys didn't like it, well, I couldn't submit.
So it was your point to get started to be in fitness, or was it to be an IG model / influencer?
I would say at the time it was fitness. And then I was in a situation because the guy I was dating at the time, I was living in his parents' basement. And I remember setting my iPad up, taking pictures, showing my body, what would be considered kind of like IG model pictures now where you show your body, whatever. And I just remember saying people are gonna know my name, like people are gonna know who I am. And probably a year after that, probably a year and a half, I did a video with World Star Candy. I don't know if you remember, because you're so not in that world.
No, I've been on World Star and I'm like, how strange is that? Me on World Star. And I'm like on one of the...
Yeah.
So for the people that don't know what World Star Candy is, World Star Candy, they used to feature a bunch of women dressed lewd and very... It's basically porn. It was basically softcore porn on World Star Hip Hop. They weren't actually... You weren't seeing actual penetration and sexual acts happening, but it was basically porn, you guys. That's basically what she's talking about. She got her clout from World Star Candy. It was promotional for women showing their bodies and shit like that. I don't think they do it anymore, or if they do, it's in a separate side of World Star Hip Hop, but that used to be something that was a part of World Star's history, like real early internet, 2012, 2015, 16-esque, man.
Yeah, anyway.
So that's kind of how
you went for World Star.
That was my goal. So when they asked,
up on World Star.
Yeah. So when I first started out, like I gained probably almost 100,000 plus followers from that video, and then probably 2 months after that, I got my first booking. So I used to be a special needs caregiver for adults. So that was my full-time job before I stopped to be a entrepreneur, Instagram model, whatever you'd like to call it.
What would you call it?
Social media influencer.
All right. So this is something you went for. You went because fitness, and for those who don't know.
So essentially, you guys, if you're wondering who Brittany Renner is, she was basically just a modern woman who got onto the social media game real early and just basically been living off of it for the past 10 years, and now shit is starting to hit the fan. And she needed to cash out, which is why she got PJ Washington and put him on child support. She also made the videos talking about how to get a lot of money and how athletes are dumb as fuck and how you should get pregnant by one of them so you can get the bag forever, at least for 18 years. And so here we are. This young lady is hitting the wall, and we're going to see it happen more and more, because this is just what happens when you do not plan for the future. You don't plan long term, and it's like, you could call her planning for the future, this, that, and the third, but this is an industry where I hope she's doing some other stuff with this, because sex business doesn't last long. It's really about age and beauty and youth. And once that well dries up, it's like, it's kind of hard to fit in. You start to get this happens constantly, and the internet is going against Brittany Renner a lot because of this is just how the cycle goes when it comes to sex work. It's like you get all the glory, the fame at the beginning, and then once you kind of get washed up a little bit, the internet chews you up. Then they label you, they destroy you. It's happening.
Media. Fitness is one of the most competitive, saturated verticals online. It is damn near impossible. In men's style, the largest guy is named Aaron Moreno, Alpha M. He started out as a gym rat. He started out on the gym, and he branched over into men's fashion because it's just so hard to break through. I know that because outside of fitness, then you get into beauty and then fashion. These are hard things to break into.
Right.
So typically, it's not uncommon for people to start it and then recognize that you're not going to get any bandwidth. I mean, believe it or not, I'm an image consultant and a fragrance reviewer, and I trudged along for 5 years and nobody knew about me until I decided to start talking about what my clients talk about.
Yeah.
So, but the point is, you decided to go for this. So you went on World Star and all this other stuff. Let's skip all the way today.
Okay.
If you could do it all over again, would you choose it?
I want you guys to realize and understand from this interview right here with Kevin Samuels and Brittany Renner, these are two people that were made from the internet for the most part. Now, Kevin Samuels absolutely had a life outside of the internet. He absolutely was making moves outside of the internet. I can't say the same for Brittany, but we're seeing two internet behemoths right now. And what I want you guys to understand is just look at the power of the internet. Look at the power of what consistency and understanding trends and capitalizing on it can do for you. Now, a lot of people could say whether or not they want to be in either of their shoes. The fact is that if there's a depression, if there's inflation and shit going on, the more money you have, typically the better off you are. So if you can get your money cash out and turn it into something that is going to take care of you and your family for generations to come, there's nothing really wrong with this internet business shit. I think what people do is if they let it get to their heads and they tie their personal life too much with their internet persona, then shit starts to get weird. And then that's when people start to break down online. They start to just deconstruct. And it's like, it's sad to see sometimes because the early influencers that we've seen come, they tied their personal emotions and in their life into this internet shit. You got to keep it separate, but it can absolutely make you into something amazing. These two people in front of us, you guys, they would not be here if Kevin Samuels, for one, he was doing image consultant, perfume, cologne and shit. He was doing that for years until he started to pick up on the trend and started to network with other guys, and then he got put on into the man's dating sphere. And also he had the recipe. Come on, he had the right recipe for it. There have been so many other guys that were doing this red pill manosphere shit before Kevin. But what Kevin did that changed the fucking game up was he actually he started a call line, but allowed women into the space. Kevin was one of the first guys to allow women in the manosphere space to speak on this shit. And he helps women. That's why in my previous videos, and I know you guys are going to think I'm fucking on some shit, but he's like the new Derek Jackson. He helps out women a lot more than he does the guys. One could be, it could be argumentative, subjective about what I'm saying, but I've watched this space for the longest, you guys, and, it wasn't really, he didn't blow up until he started talking to girls. And come on, let's just be honest, you guys. It's pure entertainment, and it's educational as fuck to see all these women and men, but mostly women, calling in, saying all this craziness, man. It brings so much out here into the real world that, what Kevin brought to the space was needed. It was needed, and it was a great fit, and he's monetized beautifully off of it, you guys.
Absolutely.
Why?
Being honest, I feel...
Well, we're going to get honest either way.
I would say that there's a lot of privilege that comes with this. You get to skip the line. And once you reach a certain level of status, really the world is your oyster. As far as, I've gotten acting roles simply just off my Instagram. Really been able to do different speaking engagements. I've been able to just not have actually have to clock in since 2013. So I would say yes, because I don't really take direction that well. I feel like, no, I'm self-aware. In
2022, self-awareness is sexy. Remember, boys and girls. That's what 2022 is about, self-awareness.
Lord, this is cringe, guys. My boy Kevin trying to putting some moves on Miss Brittany here. Loads.
It's sexy.
And I feel like in this position.
Okay, there it is. But on some real shit, you guys, self-awareness is something that people definitely should have. And what's really interesting is that you've got to be aware of this too, is that people put on the mask and parade about themselves as being self-aware, quote unquote, when really they're just fucking delusion. Their mind is blocked off from actually stepping outside of their experience and looking at themselves and with the shit that they're doing from a different vantage point. That's truly being self-aware. It's not just labeling yourself as an introvert and being like, oh, I'm self-aware, I'm an introvert. No, maybe you need to actually step outside more and get uncomfortable. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And this thing about being self-aware, this manifestation magic shit, this self-affirming shit, it's good every now and then, but it can absolutely lull you into inaction a lot of times if you do not keep yourself in check and continuously try to improve. And so this idea of being self-aware, I want to hear what else they got to talk about. I know they're probably not going to get too deep into it, but it's something to think about.
I've gotten to make more money than I would have made being a special needs caregiver, and in turn being able to not only kind of put myself ahead, but also help people around me. So I have been the breadwinner for my family. And to be honest too, because I remember, the first time I watched you was when you were sitting down with those girls, the OnlyFans stuff. And they all got up and everyone was so mad and whatever. I feel like I've made a lot of money and I've blown a lot of money. Okay. And it's taken blowing money and really having my son and seeing reality for what it truly is, to be more mindful of it and start thinking long term. That's sad, but it's like that's what it just took.
Once again, you guys, modern woman, and here's the deal. There's this idea, especially in the rational male, you guys, where it says a lot of women just do not mature at all. From the first time that they've actually had sex. They say that from the first couple times that they have sex, that the emotional development of a lot of women is the main development. But when it comes to other areas such as being realistic in life and maturing otherwise, those stop at like 18, 20. Like, women just stop maturing at that age. They emotionally mature. They're more in tune with what they want and what they don't want. That's what happens a lot of times. But just like this young lady, and I'll even speak on my sister. My own sister, she didn't start to change a little bit more until she had a kid. And let's be honest, kids actually do put you in a different state of mind. For myself, I think the main reason why having a child, and I didn't choose to. Now that's another thing right there too. So the men's situation is a little bit different because in my situation, I was forced. The reason why I have all the money, I don't even have that much money right now, but like I'm doing better than most. And the reason why is because I'm forced to. There's no other option. I have no other, there's nothing else I can do besides make a lot of fucking money for real. Like I have to, at least for 18 years. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm forced to do this shit. The only way women get forced to do anything for the most part is if they have a kid. Then that life is on them. So this just kind of goes to show it again, you guys. And how many women do you know, or how many people do you know, their lives have changed once they've had a kid? They took it more seriously. They've, squandered their entire 20s and 30s away. But then since they have this kid now, it's like, oh, I got to get serious. It shouldn't take that. But it really indicates the mental maturity of a person if they were to say some things like this, in my personal opinion. But hey, that's why this channel is called Unpopular Opinions, right?
Well, okay, so
Lots to unpack.
Well, no, because I'm kind of experiencing that myself, because coming from a long working life, yeah, there are a lot of advantages that comes along with being in the public eye, but there also comes a lot of limitations.
Yes.
And those are different for men than for women.
Agreed.
Such as going to the fucking college fair and saying, hey, hide your sons, I'm coming to fuck them. Like, what? Like, you guys hear that? Like, the fact that she says some shit like that, like, that's what you can do if your girl. Hey, what like, I just imagine somebody like, I don't know. I don't know. I guess a porn star the same age as Brittany Renner, if it was a dude. What if he got online, went to a college campus and posted a video of himself and be like, hey, y'all, hide your daughters. I'm finna... I'm coming to slang this dick on these 18-year-olds. Oh, man, it'd be hell.
Privilege that we have to acknowledge for women.
Well,
it's easier in some areas.
Well, I mean, okay, so while you do get to skip the line, all this other kind of stuff, you also get labeled for doing things that would only make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you relish the label or do you resent the label?
I think you have to take the good and the bad. So you can't be like, I love skipping the line, but I hate when people call me a whore. It's like, who cares? I've been called worse by better.
So, and one of the things that I think is interesting is anytime I see you, I always see the industry. And it's like, you guys live in an echo chamber. It's an echo chamber because most of the people who watch World Star would never have a chance to be sitting here talking to you or be you.
Right.
So this is conspicuous consumption at the digital level. You get privileges from it, but there's a real cost. What's the cost that you've paid in your personal life? In your professional life or your personal life? Take either one.
I would say if I wanted to be a teacher, that I would most likely never get hired anywhere. So that's a reality that you have to accept. I also think dating, because I'm so vocal, and just because it's like, it's hot under these lights, So it's like, I think dating has probably been the hardest thing for me.
You know why dating is so hard for you, Brittany Renner? It's because you made such a fucking fool of yourself online. A lot of people would not have an issue if you just did not talk so much shit about the guys and just did all this thirst trapping shit like all over the place. Guys love that. We love it, right? we love to put you in the side chick category, like DJ Academic said. And so, men and women, this is what happens. I don't know how many times, like, you've got to see this shit, different faces, different names, go down the exact same path, and shit always ends the same way, you guys. They say the same shit. It's so hard for me to live, go to regular dating life, and then they end up like Nicki Minaj and dating a fucking pedophile that gets charged for it, and it's like, it's just like, really? At the height, at your peak, why didn't you cash out? And it's like, she did, you know. Now, congrats on her for her baby, and you know, the amount of money she's getting off of that. She don't have to ever work ever again, you know. I'm not saying that she would ever had to have work with the Instagram and shit like that, but it's only so much you can do when you choose that lifestyle. Your actions in the past will absolutely come up in the future and show their ugly ass face or the pretty face. Whatever you've done, those seeds that you've sown grow fruit. Now, whether those fruit are tasteful, plentiful, it's amazing, high quality, or if it's tart, toxic, destructive, unhealthy, all depends on how you treated it, what you did to build that foundation.
A lot of my friends, we just don't have the same problems, it seems like.
Dating.
Yeah. And I mean, to be honest with you, it's kind of like you almost have to keep it going, because if I'm Brittany Renner and I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, and let's say I fall off and now I'm working at Target, it's not that that's a failure, but there would be ridicule that comes behind that.
You know what? You remember when Young Jock got found on video doing an Uber? Motherfucking Young Jock, meet me in the tram. It's going down. Meet me in the... They made fun of his ass. Y'all seen Welvin the Great? Now, I hate to say this shit, but like, you know, I mean, he's... You know, I'm not even gonna get into Welvin the Great. T-Pain. Look at what's happening to T-Pain right now, you guys. MC Hammer. Shit happens all the time to guys. It happens all the time to guys. If you get all this fame and then you end up having to do a regular ass job, of course people are gonna humiliate you and they're gonna talk shit on you. A lot of it comes because those people are jealous, but at the same time, it's because you've been blessed an opportunity to have more money than some people will ever see in their life, and you squandered it away on what? A motherfucking Bentley? A motherfucking Rolls Royce that just got repossessed? You know how many businesses like you could have opened up with all the amount of money that people spend on the stupid ass shit? This is the type of shit I think about. When I get money, serious money, I'm gonna make sure I get the stuff that I need to help myself continue to go. I'm gonna pay for that shit. And then when I get that money, I'm gonna start businesses. You get into real estate, education, financial literacy, something that evades everyone's mind whenever they get this money. And they never think to go do it. You know why? Because it takes time. It takes them to sit the fuck down and actually take life slow. Actually have to sit down. You have to sit down and you've got to control yourself. That takes a lot of self-control that a lot of people don't have. But we want to talk about we got self-awareness in this motherfucker. But I mean, at the same time, I guess she is aware because she understands that you got to keep maintaining, you got to keep fueling this train, fill it up with the coal in order to keep it burning. And so, I mean, sounds like she knew what she was getting into, but it also sounds like she's getting a little anxious for the future. Damn.
So I feel like trying to have maybe more sort of a everyday career going from this realm to this realm, I think it would be a tough transition. I don't think people would be supportive of it.
I think one of the questions that more people ask than anything else is how much of this is real and how much of it's to keep it going.
Not really. I mean, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't think people give a damn about whether it's real or fake. I think for the most part, people think and assume that the shit that we see is for entertainment for the most part. And we're just surprised as shit at the lengths that people will go to sacrifice their actual real life and real reputation in order to get a couple views and shit like that. Like, I don't think anybody really gives a fuck about whether or not it's real or fake. I think that at the end, it's like the people that do the pranks on YouTube. It's like, you really risk going to jail to go do some stupid shit like that? Wow, that was funny. I got some good laughs out of that. I would never do that in my life, but hey, thanks for taking it for me. Like, that's kind of what we think. I don't think nobody gives a fuck whether it's real or fake. Like, I mean, I guess it's okay. It's cool to know, I guess, but it's like, you don't really give a fuck.
And as somebody who sees the world from a different angle, do you have an end goal?
My end goal would be to utilize my youth, my beauty, this position to create opportunities in the now for the long term. So podcasting, hair company, skincare, like certain things that I feel like, what is that? What does that mean? Because it looked like you were processing a thought when I was talking.
Okay.
She's a Pisces for sure. She feeling the vibe. The vibe shifted. Kevin said, well, they're both Pisces actually. Oh shit. Piscean energy. They got, man. Anyways, I told you, man, she's feeling it. She's feeling the fucking pressure. And the truth is, she should have did this shit 2-3 years ago. When Rihanna started her shit. When Brittany saw Rihanna start Fenty, she should have jumped on board. Kim Kardashian did. Fucking Kylie and Rihanna killed it. Brittany had an opportunity. Had she started this shit 3-4 years ago, yo, she would have made a killing. Not saying she can't do it now, but it's like, now your image has got a lot of stains on it. It's like you're trying to salvage what left of the burning career that you had. It hurts. One of the 48 laws of power that I read about that was really interesting to me was never make anything seem difficult. Like, there was a story of this it was in Japan, right? This guy, it was a tea ceremony. He was the master of tea. Even the emperor loved being around this guy, right? And so the emperor wanted to come have some tea with this guy one day, right? So he came to his house and it was snowing. And the emperor came to the dude's house and was surprised, astonished to see that the stepping stones like on the way to his house, you know, like how like Asian houses are kind of built. You see like in the animes and shit, they got like little fountain and they got like little stepping stones to go to your house. Each stepping stone for the emperor to walk on didn't have a single snowflake on it. A single snowflake. And the emperor was like, how the fuck is this possible? It's like there's a path for me right here in the snow dedicated for me to this guy's house, right? And so the long story short, what the master ceremony did in order to create this effect, this illusion, right? He didn't go out and dust it off. Now, like, that's something he could have did. He could have found out, but they didn't have watches and shit around this time. He was just going to show up. He didn't know what time he was going to show up and some shit. So what the master ceremony did was he knew that the snow was going to happen. So he put pillows out on each stone at night so that none of the snow would be on top of the pillow. And then when morning time broke, he'd take the pillows off and then bam, create this effect. The power, the rule of it is to do the seemingly impossible, but make it look so fucking easy. Something can take a tremendous amount of time, but you present it to the public as if it was effortless. That is a skill, a great key to power. It creates mystery. People wonder how in the fuck you do it. They think you have some supernatural ability. It's a rule. It's a law of power. And unfortunately, Brittany has laid it all out. Now she's actually starting to struggle. We're seeing her struggle, and she's trying to piece it all, like gather all the little things back together and like formulate something amazing and fantastic. But we all know, and she knows too, that she should have did this a lot sooner, a lot younger, and it would have had a much greater effect. Not to say that she won't start something and it won't be big, but to the scale that it could have been, it's just not there, you know? And we're witnessing her struggle for it. That also takes a lot of the power away, because we're seeing you struggle. We're seeing her struggle, you know? With all this negative publicity, and people have turned negative publicity and flipped it all the way the fuck around and turned it into an even better thing that they came into it with. Look at Logan Paul, him going to the fucking suicide forest, and now he's doing better than ever. You know, there's still a chance, but this is a great example to see what's happening and how, like, knowledge and self-awareness of yourself, not at a specific point in your time. I think the best thing that you can do is establish self-awareness and practices to continue to keep yourself self-aware as early as possible, so that you can take care and you can capitalize on the opportunities when they are there for you, and you're not struggling later on in life when shit is even harder, you guys. You don't want that shit to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think my biggest end goal is one of my bigger end goals is to have my own podcast. I think one of my favorite people I loved watching in high school even was Wendy Williams. And I love that she was just so raw, so real. People can say whatever they want about her, but she speaks her mind. So I think that especially in the podcasting space, and even just, you know, Wendy's older, you know, there's not really a female voice that isn't just like politics, certain, like, that's not covering the things that I feel like I'm not afraid to cover.
Okay, I'm with Kevin Simmons on this one too. What the fuck is she talking about? Is there what? What about Cynthia G's ass, huh? What about Cynthia G's ass? Oh my God, yo, horrible decisions by Complex and Joe Budden. Yo, there are so many, and you know what? There's still more space for the podcast to come in. I just honestly think that Brittany, she's gonna have to spin it. She's gonna have to spin it in a unique ass way. I think what she's gonna have to do is she's gonna have to make it entertaining. She's gonna have to bring some guys into it. I know she's probably gonna not want to bring the guys in. She's gonna just do this whole female thing, which, I mean, I'm not in tune with what the girls are really looking at and watching nowadays, but I have a strong suspicion that Brittany Renner is not what a lot of these females are actually looking up to at the moment, you guys. I think a lot of girls, like, because I'm thinking of the younger generation, I think like the 20s, 21, 22, 23, and even 20, my age. Like, what kind of girls are these girls looking up to? And Brittany Renner is just not in that name. Brittany Renner is more of like the side chick type of name. That's the Brittany Renner. When I think of Brittany Renner, I think of porn. That's what I think of. Porn. I think of porn. I think of gimmicks. I think of using blatantly, overtly, loudly talking about using men. I think of hot dog in the hallway. Like, I don't see. This is what I should grow up and be like. This is what I want to grow up and be like. I'm sorry, but like, I don't see anything of Brittany Renner that has done that is full of like anything admirable, honestly. Like, I mean, I guess the fact that she started posting pictures of herself shrewdly in her boyfriend's basement and got 100,000 followers off of that. I mean, I guess that's cool. That's dope. I mean, 100,000 is a lot of people. She got featured on World Star Candy. So, you know, I mean, now you're hitting your 30s and still no business out of all of that fame and fortune. I'm sorry, Brittany, but I just don't see, I don't see anything that even younger women can look up to you and be like, damn, that's a woman that, like, I can understand Meg Thee Stallion, right? I can understand Meg Thee Stallion. I can understand fucking Chloe Bailey. Like, these girls are the girls that other girls look up to and want to be. But I think the way that Brittany Renner has done it is kind of sloppy. And it just doesn't look like something worth following, unfortunately. So, I don't know. I wish the best of luck for her podcast if that's where she wants to go with it. But, you know, hey.